Hey everyone, James Labrie from Dream Theater, and you're listening to or watching the podcast Talking into Infinity with JT and Brian. Enjoy this. These guys are extremely informative. I love their dialogue. I love their interpretation of the songs, who and what we are, what we were going after. They're very accurate in their interpretations and descriptions, and I just think this is a great show, and these guys are doing a stand-up stellar job. So once again, enjoy Talking into Infinity with JT and Brian.
What is up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Talking into Infinity, a Dream Theater podcast. I am your host, John. We are live on Facebook, YouTube, talkingintoinfinity.com, and the CMSnetwork.com. We are live at those four locations every other Thursday at 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. If you're watching on YouTube, please do not forget to click that like and subscribe button so that you are notified every time that we go live. For example, when we went live this past Saturday, as we had a great chat with James Labrie, Chance Labrie, and Paul Logue about James's new solo record, A Beautiful Shade of Grey. If you would like to catch video replays of the show, check out Heavy Metal Television or just go to our YouTube channel. And if you would like to download audio versions of the podcast, it's very simple. Just Google Talking into Infinity Podcast. Let me bring on my very good friend and co-host, Brian. What is going on, man? It has definitely been an eventful last few weeks for us on the show here.
It's been crazy, man. When's the last time you and I actually did a show where we kind of just sat and talked Dream Theater? We're like going on like 4 weeks or something, or close to over a month, I think.
Yeah, it's a month. I mean, the last normal, quote unquote, normal show, I was at Sammy Hagar, and Aiken was sitting in this chair. So
we've had a great run, man. We had Aiken, we had Rich Wilson, Jordan Rudess, and James Labrie. I mean, we're halfway to our trying to get the full band on here, you know?
Right. Our good buddy Tom Cullen's checking in. He says, "Hello, gentlemen." Tom, great to see you, man. Thanks for tuning in. We appreciate it. He also asks, "You get to try Rock the Barrel yet?" Tom, you must be behind the scenes somewhere, because my drink of choice tonight is actually, let's see if I can get this on the Rock the Barrel 2. John Petrucci's Iron Smoke bourbon, and it is, man, it is. I gotta say, man, it is really, really good. I was actually surprised because a lot of these, like, the artisanal bourbons that these bands put out, most of them are complete dog shit, and this one is actually absolutely delicious. So, I mean, it's up there in price. I mean, it was $193 a bottle, but I mean, at least it's good. I would have been pissed if I got this stuff and it's like, yeah, $193, and it's like pissed, but no, it is not. So
I was going to say, how much did you have to up your credit limit just to buy a bottle of that?
I know.
So where does it actually come from? It ships from New York or something, or what?
Yeah. The distillery is in New York.
Okay.
Yeah, I think they still have them on sale, actually. They made more of this one than they did the first one. I think the first run of Rock the Barrel 1 was like 200 bottles and out, so that one was hard to get. But yeah. Wow. So
this actually came from Chardon. This is that's a McDonald's. This is a McDonald's Coke. So it was about $192 less than I think what you paid for.
Right. I've also got a beer slushy. That's nice. A whole nother behind the scenes story, but yeah, as you said, man, it has been a crazy few weeks, man. We had for anybody who has not checked these interviews out, we did talk to Jordan Rudess a few weeks ago. I sat down and talked to the Dream Theater biographer, Rich Wilson. That was a great conversation. And then last Saturday, you and I had the pleasure of sitting down with Paul Logue again, Chance Labrie again, and the man himself, James Labrie. And we did a deep dive into A Beautiful Shade of Grey. And that was a total blast. That was an absolute blast to do. And I think I'm still pinching myself, man. How about you?
Yeah, that was like the fastest 90-minute interview we ever did, I think. I mean, they were as we talk, we're always nervous about stuff like that, just in general. We don't want to come off more idiots than we actually are. But I thought, man, they seemed really engaged and seemed to actually enjoy the questions, and they were really in depth. And Chance was awesome too, man. I wasn't exactly sure what to expect from him. He's kind of soft spoken, but once he gets going, like he's real in depth. I mean, just such a great musician, and it's so cool having him be like, I don't want to say friend of the show, but just getting to know all these guys now. And the more we kind of do these type of episodes, the more we can probably have them on in the future, and maybe they can lead us down the path to other stuff, and just to kind of keep this thing growing and rolling.
Yep, completely agree, man. JG3 is checking in. Good to see you, man. He said, if it was a little cheaper, I would have pulled the trigger on the Rock the Barrel. Just a bit out of my price range at the moment. What's up, guys? Chris Moran says, who is next to be on this live show? I will just say that I have a few irons in the fire right now. Some are closer than others to a confirmation, but we do have other guests in the pipeline, and there's definitely going to be some really, really cool stuff coming up. So, again, click that like and subscribe button. There's that, YouTube ad again. But
that second JG3 comment, the new Megadeth single. What are your thoughts on that? I don't know what I think about it.
I love it.
Really?
I thought it was great. Yeah. Not that big of a chorus, but I thought it was awesome. The new Queensryche single I loved. The Ozzy single, I was like, it's okay.
Ozzy's kind of rough.
Yeah.
I think the same about that as the Megadeth. Like, I like the verse, but the chorus is just, I don't know, just give me a little bit more riffing too. It's like,
yeah,
I don't know, just one or two little extra things in there.
That's what was weird to me about the Ozzy thing, is that for once I feel like the music actually let him down. It wasn't his vocals or his lyrics or anything. Like, I thought it was like classic kind of creepy, weird Ozzy, and the music underneath just isn't. I mean, he's got some good vocal melodies in there, and the music underneath just isn't great. I was like, what the hell is that?
Well, that guitar player he's got is not the guy for Ozzy. I mean, Bob and I, my coworker Bob Hurd was over last week, and we were listening to it, and it's like, this is not, that guy from California Breed, I forgot what his name is, but it's a blues rock guy. Like, dude, you need a metal guy. It's got to be somebody who's got some metal in his veins, and that dude is a great guitar player, but he does not have that.
Yeah, totally agree, man. So why don't we get into tonight's topic? Tonight we are presenting, each of us has written our ultimate Dream Theater set list. Real quick, Tom Cullen, he says, also, I forgot, thank you for my astonishing mailer. You're very welcome, man. You are very, very welcome. Glad we can get that out. For any of you guys watching right now or listening, if you would like to get a mini astonishing tour program from the 2017 leg of the tour, just shoot us an email at talkingintoinfinity@gmail.com. We do have to limit it to United States mailing only. I found out the hard way that shipping overseas is ungodly expensive. So, let's keep it to the U.S. because I don't want to charge anybody for this stuff. So, there we go. Our buddy Aiken is chiming in. He says, the Ozzy guy is Andrew Watt. There we go. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, I agree with you. He needs a metal guitar player. So, but yeah, so Brian and I are presenting our Dream Theater set lists. So we did have a couple criteria. We have 2 sets, so we're doing an evening with. Each set has to be kept to 90 minutes, and you get 1 encore song. So if you're going to pick Vacant, you burned it out in like 3 minutes. If you're going to pick, Count of Tuscany, then you got 22 minutes, whatever the hell it is. So 19, whatever. I basically went through the list, and I just marked down songs that I would love to hear live or that I thought would be cool in the set list. And then I decided to whittle it down from there once I looked at the time. And I only had to cut out like 3 songs, oddly enough. I was really kind of surprised. My set list is 22 songs, and it's 3 hours and 14 minutes. How did you do yours? And, what's your song, count and set length?
8, 9, 10. 10 songs in set 1.
10 songs in set 1, okay.
Yeah, I'm just over both sets. I'm over by like 2 minutes, and then my encore is not that long, so I think I'm at 3 hours, 3:15 roughly. Yeah, about the same for you, I guess. Yeah.
Okay. We did have an interesting comment on our Facebook page today that, our buddy Kale McLeish asked, like, are we taking into account like past members and can they play like they used to? Can they sing like? I was like, no. I just figured it'd be cool to see what an ultimate set list would look like. So
I have 20 total, and that includes my encore.
Okay, I've got 22. I also have an intro. Yeah, I thought I would have less. I don't know about you, but
I thought you'd have less for sure.
Look at Adam Rishog. We all know Jon's encore is Trial of Tears. Well, I guess you're gonna have to wait to find out, Adam.
How long before they guess like 5 of my songs?
I know. Mine. I actually wrote. I have an intro track, but I also even have like stage directions, like stage chatter and stage black, and so that you can blend tunes together. So,
man, I had this killer idea that maybe I'll reveal once we're done, because I couldn't figure out a way to end up to put this in there. So I'll tell about it at the end. I ended up having to take the song out. And I wish I had not now, but I don't think it fit with what I was doing. But okay. No, I don't have any stage directions, but like I said, I did have this other kind of weird idea. I'll talk about that later, but I have one member doing a solo. It should be really hard to figure out who that is.
Sure.
It's on my own.
Nice. Yeah, I don't have any solos. I
mean, when I say solo, you know how it goes with this person. It's not really a solo per se. It's like a piece of music almost. The
sure.
Intro to something else. So.
JG3 says, intro, A Nightmare to Remember, where the curtain fails to fall, like at the show I saw. I did not write snafus in here, Jay.
That's literally a nightmare to remember.
Yeah, it is. All right, so I will let you start. So what do you have as song number 1, or how are you starting the show off?
Man, I want to say right now, I have some recency bias because I am just digging the shit out of View from the Top of the World.
Okay.
I don't know what it is. Like, you know how sometimes I think we even said this album was a grower, didn't we?
Yes, very much.
And it's easy to say that, but it's another thing to really mean that. But man, I love that heavy driving riff of Answering the Call. And I'm like, what if they just come out and rip right into this song?
Wow.
Like,
okay.
I mean, talk about left field. No one thinks I'm going to have that on there, but I'm just like, I started like messing around with different songs, and then I was like, I'm listening to Top of the World again, and I'm like, I got to get this in there. And then I'm like, I sort of had this little 3-song thing I'd worked in my head, and I'm like, what song works first? So I've got Answering the Call.
Awesome. All right, I did not expect that at all.
I told you there's no way you'll guess my first 3.
Yeah. So I have an intro video, and I want to preface all my stuff by saying that any of the graphics are done by Wayne Joyner in my ultimate set list, because Wayne does kick-ass work. So, everything's done by Wayne. But because this is my ultimate set list, and I could, it's my party, I can cry if I want to. They are introing with an awesome sci-fi inspired video by Wayne Joyner to the tune of the main theme of Star Wars.
Nice.
So I had to do it. And the opening song, after in the Presence of Enemies Part 1, they go right into it. So I just think that is such a cool opener. I had a lot of different choices. Actually, I think I went through like 7 different songs on my list that I thought could be show openers, and I had to reserve 2 because I needed, an intro for each set. And something about In the Presence of Enemies just really grabbed me, and I'll explain why at the end, because it might give something else away. But I have In the Presence of Enemies Part 1.
Not shocked. I mean, we've said before that's an incredible set opener or encore or wherever the hell you want to put it. But yeah, that's cool after the Star Wars. I would love to see them like play that theme, metal it up or whatever like that. What's that band that you've seen before?
Galactic Empire.
Yeah, I would love to see obviously those dudes could easily play. That would be cool as hell, as like if you did the orchestrated version and then they sort of jam it out and then you go right into that. That would be cool.
That's what I thought too, because I was picturing on the Systematic Chaos tour when they opened with like the theme from 2001, and that was just amazing. That was my favorite intro that they've ever done. So I was picturing something like that. So great minds think alike on that one. All right, so moving on to our second song in our ultimate set list. You opened with Answering the Call. What are you going into as a second song?
Well, you know me in this album in general, not a massive fan, but I've got to get the song on there, Innocence Faded.
Second. Wow. Okay. Now, do you have these in a particular order for a particular reason, or are you just kind of listing songs?
No, I actually thought I had sort of a rhyme or reason to how they were fitting together. And then when I get kind of further down, I'll kind of tell you more why, or you'll see why.
Okay. All right. So that is your second song. Okay. So I have, in the presence of enemies, and it fades out. And then you hear boom, 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 bang, and they go into a Fortune and Lies. So without realizing I had done it, I put another album opener second in the set. And I will preface this by saying my first three songs are connected, so there's no breaks or anything like that. The first stage chatter does not happen until after my third song. But yeah, Fortune and Lies. I just thought it would be cool if you picture, them fading out that note, the crowd goes nuts, and then you hear boom, boom, boom. Like you're like, oh crap, what the hell? So I thought that was a really cool song to pull out. Being off the first record, it's immediately from their very first record, it's like as old as you can get. So I thought that was kind of a cool thing to do, to kind of throw a monkey wrench into things a little bit right off the bat there. So yeah. And oddly enough, like my first few songs are only like 23 minutes total, 23, 24 minutes or something like that. So, all right. So I have a Fortune and Lies second for that reason. So you're going Answering the Call, Innocence Faded, and what is Dream Theater doing next at your ultimate set list?
Lost but not forgotten, minus the but.
Oh, very cool. Very cool.
I mean, that's one of my favorite Jordan piano intros that he does on anything, and those first couple songs, not a ton of Jordan work in there. I mean, there's obviously Jordan work in everything, but not featured that way. So it's like boom, we're going to go right into that. He's going to start it off, and it's just such a big, giant, bombastic song, coming after kind of a sort of a melodic rocker, a little bit more mid-tempo. But yeah, I love Lost Not Forgotten. That's a song that I'm trying to think if I've ever seen him play it. Probably not, but yeah, it would be very cool to see that one.
Okay. Yeah, I was wondering how long it would take you to get into Dramatic Turn. So
3 songs longer than you thought.
Right. So that was cool. Our buddy Chris Moran, he says my set list would be As I Am, Endless Sacrifice, Answering the Call, A Nightmare to Remember, A Rite of Passage, The Shattered Fortress, On the Backs of Angels, The Looking Glass, In the Presence of Enemies Part 2, and In the Name of God. That's pretty solid.
That's surprising. He's answering the call in there. I like that.
Right? And he's opening with a double shot of Train of Thought.
Yeah, a lot of love for Train of Thought there.
Yeah. All right. So I've done In the Presence of Enemies into A Fortune and Lies, and A Fortune and Lies obviously ends with, and I figure the stage is dark for a couple seconds so that the crowd can cheer, and then you get and it going into the Alien. So I'm just I actually made a set list of these, a playlist I should say, on my Amazon Music app, and when I listened back to these songs in a row, I was like, oh, that kind of kicks ass, man. I was really proud of my opening 3.
Yep.
So, because you get the fade out in Presence of Enemies, and then, going into A Fortune and Lies, that one stops dead, and you can, Alien just starts up with drums. So I just thought that would be a really, really cool, really, really cool way to kind of open the show. And it's yet another album opener in my first 3. So I just thought that'd be really cool. Obviously, touch on the new record right off the bat. So I just thought that'd be just such a cool thing to see. And then after that, James talks to the crowd, so that's where I have my first stage chatter, and he's BSing and stuff like that. So,
when we did our album opener episode, if you remember, I think we said like, well, what if we did have a whole set of these? How would we arrange them?
Yeah.
So we have to figure that out sometime.
There's another show topic. All right. So what do you have as your 4th song?
So we'll take a little break after Lost, because we got three bangers in a row there, and James will, do some blabbing about whatever. And then Something off of the next to last album, Barstool Warrior.
Okay, good call. Good call. I think that is that's almost like a must. I think that is some of the songs on my list, and I'm sure you have the same thing. Like, you almost kind of can't leave them out of something like this because we gush over them so damn much that it's like if we didn't have them on here, as much as they're
welcome to my second set. That's pretty much what that's going to be. I went back and forth on this. I almost fit something else in here, and then I was like, I came close to taking it out, and I'm like, I can't. I got to leave it in there. So,
yeah, my first set is more of the heavier side of things, and then the second set, it really pulls out some crazy stuff that you wouldn't think that I've got on there, or that you wouldn't think they would ever put into a show. So, all right. So, fourth song for me, James is talking, and he says, "All right, let's get back to Train of Thought." And the drums come in, and they go into Honor Thy Father.
Nice.
I thought that would be a really cool selection off of that record. It's just absolutely obnoxious in terms of its lyrics and the the stuttering guitar part and everything, and
yep.
That's just a good heavy tune. I really, like I say, like I front loaded this show with a lot of the heavier stuff and some banging things. So I just thought that'd be really cool. Like, you're all pumped up from the first three James talks, and then all of a sudden you get Honor Thy Father. It's like, what the hell? So that is my fourth song. All right. So your fifth song, what do you have at number 5?
This will be the first one where they kind of have an intro that doesn't really involve them, and I'm going into the Great Debate.
Nice. Okay. I love that song.
Yeah, so do I. And probably one of those, I don't know that I'll ever get to see it live. Maybe I will at some point. But, you kind of hit me to the appreciation of this album probably more than any of them as we talked since we started the show. And, like, that song has just become one of my favorites of theirs. And I don't know, man. Just all the little cool sound clips, the way they're placed, they're just so neat. It's like, I don't know, if you're into that kind of stuff in general, it's like just a giant nerd fest, like how did they clip all this and put it in there and put the killer music over it and produce it like that? And like, I would love to see the process of putting together a song like that,
Yeah. I've never understood why that song doesn't get more love. I've never understood that. So that's a great choice, man. For me at number 5, after Honor Thy Father at 4, the stage goes black, and then there's a fade in, as it does on the Octavarium record. And after the fade in, they go into These Walls.
That is that on here. I called that from a mile away.
You know me too well, man. Yeah, that's just one of those songs that I've always loved, and I don't think it gets enough attention. I don't remember if I ever saw that one live. I know that it was on like the bonus songs disc of Live at Luna Park, but I don't think I ever saw them perform it. But it's one I've always wanted to see. I think that is a criminally underrated song. And I just love how the chorus, like John Petrucci's just hitting a chord, like boom, boom, like there's nothing to it. To the point where I actually ripped that idea off for a song that I wrote with my band APG a couple of years after that. I was just like, man, I'd been thinking about it. Like, what if you just hold chords out? And then John Petrucci did it. I was like, okay, if John Petrucci can do it, then I can do it.
Which song?
It's a song called Wish in One Hand, and it's literally 3 chords in the chorus. It just hits an open and then an open and then I don't know the actual notes because I'm terrible with that shit, but I wrote it as simple as possible, and my singer put this huge hook over it, so I did steal that idea. But yeah, so at number 5, I've got These Walls. So what do you have at number 6?
I actually have to do these. I have to do the next 2.
Okay.
So we're going to come out. We're going to sort of strip it down. We're going to mellow out because we just got bashed over the head by the Great Debate for 12 minutes or 9 or whatever it is, however many minutes it is.
Sure.
Strip it down. We're going to go into Silent Man.
Oh, I love it.
And then that's going to lead right into Along for the Ride. Like basically like hardly no break, just like seamlessly going into that.
So you're doing like a live at Luna Park with the double mellow song in the middle.
Yeah, I figure
Okay.
if you're gonna strip it down mellow, you might as well get 2 songs in there, and the chances I'm gonna probably pick. There's only really like maybe one other song I would take off of the self-titled, and I've always liked Along for the Ride. I definitely liked it even more the more you guys talked about it, and I sort of dug into it. So I think that's killer kind of combo right there.
I like that, man. I like that. So okay, so that's your 6 and 7, correct?
Yep.
All right, so I'll do my 6 and 7 again. These 3 are together, my 5, 6, and 7, and then we're doing stage chatter.
Okay.
So at number 5, I had These Walls, and for those of you who remember the song, at the end it's got that sound effect that leads into Walk Beside You, and it so it gets to the end and it does the sound effect, and it goes shh. So it does that. So I have it doing the sound effect and it immediately goes shh into bow down Erotomania.
Nice.
So I just thought that'd be cool to have that that swell, and then Erotomania hits, and James is getting a break here, for almost 7 minutes. I know we did our instrumental thing, and we were talking about best instrumental tracks, and I didn't have this as high as some other things, but I still love it. And I thought that'd be a really cool thing to put in the middle of the first set here at number 6. It's 6 out of 10. It's a perfect spot for James to get some air. And I'm doing a double shot. So Erotomania fades out, and on the album it goes into Voices, but on my set list it fades out and it goes into Scarred. I think that's a song they don't play enough. Excuse me. It's too bad Kale's not on, because I know he's got a hard on for that song like nobody's business. But yeah, I just thought that'd be a really cool thing to do, a double shot of Awake right there. Especially because James has got some difficult vocal work on Scarred, so it's good to give him a little breather with Erotomania. So
I knew you'd have that in there too. I wasn't sure when. I thought you'd maybe have it later in the second set or something, but that doesn't surprise me.
JG3 says, the mini acoustic set is a cool idea. I liked when they did that. And he also says, I like in this hypothetical set list, you are giving James a break. See, JG3, here's the thing. Like for every band I've been in, I've written all the set lists. So for, God, what is it, like 28 years or something, I've been writing set lists. So when Brian had this idea, when I'm writing mine, that's why I have like stage chatter, stage black, and I'm picturing like how this would actually flow in a concert setting, because I'm so used to writing it this way for my band. So like, I couldn't get out of my established patterns there. So, but yeah, Scarred, and then James is going to talk to the crowd again for a little bit. So, number 8 is next. And by the way, how many songs do you have in your first set?
10.
Okay, great. I have 10 as well.
Yep.
So, okay. So at number 8, what do you have?
More recency bias, and I'm bummed now the more I think about that they didn't play this. Short of the Happy song by Petrucci, this is the happiest, most feel-good riff they have, Transcending Time.
Okay.
Yeah, we've been kind of mellow for a while, and it's like, man, now let's really just kind of get the energy pumping, and everyone's going to sing along to this. They're probably singing along to the mellow stuff anyway, but I don't know. This is just a fun, giant melodic hook of a song. I love this song. Yeah,
you can't go wrong with Transcending Time. I think hell, that whole record, like you said, it's a grower. I listened to it recently, like, man, it's one of those things that keeps getting better as I listen to it. Kind of like we talked about last week on, our discussion with James Labrie. Like his new solo records like that, the more you listen to it, you're like, damn, like I got this stuff in my head. So yeah, that's a damn good selection, man. I like that one. So for me, James is going to talk a little bit, and this is the first mellow break of the show for me, coming into my last 3 songs of the set. I also have 10, and James Labrie, intros this one, and I hope someday I get to actually see this song live. It is Out of Reach. So I absolutely love that song. That was like the very first thing when you came up with this idea. I was like, okay, I want to hear Out of Reach live. So that is my number 8. Our buddy Kale is chiming in. He's slept in today. So Kale, hopefully you're feeling better, man. Kale's been pretty under the weather. He says, sorry I'm late. Can you tell me what you started with? My first set opens with Only a Matter of Time and Under a Glass Moon.
Wow.
Good selections. Kale, mine intros with a Wayne Joyner video, and it's to the Star Wars main theme, go figure. And my first three are In the Presence of Enemies, Part 1, A Fortune in Lies, and The Alien, before James actually talks. And Brian, give Kale your first three as a recap.
I have Answering the Call, Innocence Faded, Lost Not Forgotten.
There we go. Kale's getting called out by JG3. Hey, Kale, it's okay that you're late, but don't let it happen again or else.
Right.
Nice. So, all right. So, number 9. What do you have as number 9? Your second to last song in your first set.
Well, this is why I only have 10 songs, because of this one. I got Octavarium in here.
Wow. You're going to hit him with a 24-minute song in the first set, huh?
Yeah. I mean, you're going to have an epic in here at some point. So,
okay.
Might as well be kind of a little bit more. I don't want to do it too early, And I thought, we had a little bit of the mellowness, and then we get the really super bouncy, transcending time. We started out pretty rocking. So I thought this is a good place to fit this in right here.
Sure. I was waiting for this one. Adam Rishog, our good friend, he says, yes, Brian. I was as soon as you said Octavarium, I'm like, all right, where's Adam? JG3, Octavarium, yum yum.
So were you at the Did we talk about this before? Were you at the Gigantor show?
Yeah, I was at yeah.
Did they play?
Not Cleveland. I caught I saw one song in Chicago. No, you know what? I did catch them in Cleveland. I just don't remember what they played.
Did they play Octavarium?
No, because they were opening for Megadeth. They were they were the second to last.
Well, no,
band.
I know that. I just wasn't sure. I couldn't remember this, but this was that tour, I believe.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because I remember they played "Walk Beside You" and
yeah,
"As I Am" or whatever. A Root of All Evil.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I think this song needs to be in there. There's just so many cool vocals, and the way this song just builds and builds and builds. It's a little bit slow that first couple minutes there, or, people might be, I got to run and quick get a drink,
Yeah.
Go run and get your drink and then come back 4 minutes. And that's, the last 19 is amazing,
Well, I like that selection. That is not what I did with mine. After my 8th song, Out of Reach, it fades out. Give it a little bit of a break. And then the guitar comes in, and you're listening to the beautiful strains of Barstool Warrior. So
nice.
We have a repeat on our list. So I was wondering how many of those there would actually be, but you got to have Barstool Warrior. That song is pretty much Dream Theater perfection. It always amazes me that song is only 6 minutes and 43 seconds long. It feels longer, but not in a bad way. Like, it feels like you're on this journey and it just keeps going. And you're, God, this song is so good. And you think it's longer than it is. And it's just fantastic. So I was not surprised that you had it, and I'm sure you weren't surprised that I put it in my set list either.
No.
So, all right. So number 10, to close out your first set, what do you have?
I have, again, recency bias, Awaken the Master. Because after, that 23 minutes of we're kind of mellowed out, man, okay, we're sort of zoned out. It's like, dude, we need to get the metal going. We need that riff that just, slam us right in the stomach and in the head and sort of wake up there. And I originally had Dark Eternal Night there, and I swapped it out for Awaken the Master. I just thought Dark Eternal Night's been done enough. I want to hear Awaken the Master there.
Okay. All right, that makes sense. I'm gonna say, man, Chris Moran has a good. I would pick this one over your closer. Chris Moran says At Wit's End. I think I would prefer that as a set closer. But Awaken the Master's cool. Everyone loves the 8-string. But I'm gonna say, Brian, that I think I bested you in my set closer, because as Barstool Warrior is ringing out, my closing song of the set, Learning to Live. That's, you get that whoa.
Nice.
That to me is always just feels so anthemic at the end of a set. So I had to put that on there. That was one of those things that I knew I was going to do. Was close one of the sets with Learning to Live, and the reason I did not, I actually have two reasons why I didn't close the second set with it, but I'll get to that later. So yeah, so going through it real quick. Mine is introing with Star Wars and a Wayne Joyner video. Then it's In the Presence of Enemies, Part 1, A Fortune and Lies, The Alien. James talks. Then we've got Honor Thy Father. Stage goes black for a fade in. They go into these walls. That sound effect fades in. It goes right into Erotomania, which then goes right into Scarred. Then James talks. And then we go into Out of Reach, right into Barstool Warrior, right into Learning to Live. And that is my first set. So recap yours very, very quickly, and we'll move on.
Of course, I went to my next set here, so
of course.
All right. Answering the Call, Innocence Faded, Lost Not Forgotten. Quick little break there. Barstool Warrior, The Great Debate. Quick break to set up acoustic for Silent Man and Along for the Ride. That won't really be done acoustically, but just mellows things out. Transcending Time, Octavarium, and wanted to sort of go out on a big metal riff with Awaken the Master.
These are some damn good sets, man. I hope the guys are listening, because we're giving them some gold. So Adam Rishog says, Glass Prison, Fall into the Light, These Walls, Answering the Call, Along for the Ride, Behind the Veil, Barstool Warrior with closer Bridges in the Sky. That's a good closer. I like that one.
I can't believe Answering the Call keeps coming up here. I must be onto something with this. I thought I was hit some unique deal here, and everyone's like on board. And we got Barstool Warrior and Along for the Ride. Sweet.
Yep. Kale says his first set is Only a Matter of Time, Under a Glass Moon, Caught in a Web, Lines in the Sand, Overture 1928, Strange Deja Vu, Blind Faith, In the Name of God, Sacrifice Sons, excellent selection there, it almost made my list, Dark Eternal Night, and ending on Rite of Passage. I will say one thing, Kale, I do not like that as a set closer. I think that's a very weak set closer. I think JG3 agrees. JG3 says, Rite of Passage, more like Wrong of Passage.
Hey.
I love it.
Give Kale some credit. He's drawing a line in the sand. And I'm going to segue into, I will take over set 2, and I will run this set 2. That is my set 2 opener that you would have never guessed in 4 million years.
Wow. Okay.
Lines in Sand.
Okay.
Man, I was going into I was about to say talking into infinity like you do, falling into infinity, and
right.
Kind of fishing around a little bit, like what's something that I probably really want to hear over here, just deep diving, and like Lines in the Sand. I'm like, the more I listened to it, the more I just dug the crap out of it. I'm like, this would be a killer set opener.
Yeah,
the way it starts kind of mellow and stuff, a little bit of keyboards, and this is the one I think has Doug Pennick on it. Vocals are killer. Like, I mean, this is just a great song. I don't know. It just felt right for me. So I put it right there as my opener. What did you have for set 2?
So before I get to my opener, it's funny you mentioned Falling into Infinity, because for those of you guys who have not watched our interview with James and Chance and Paul last week, make sure you go do that, first of all. But second of all, I made mention of someone referenced Take Away My Pain. And I was saying something to James, and I happened to mention that Falling into Infinity is my favorite record, and he made a face kind of like a, what the hell, really? Like, it was really funny to me. I was like, damn, even James is like, no one tells me that. So that was kind of funny. But all right, so you pulled your first song off of my favorite record, and for me to open up my second set, I actually pulled a song off of my favorite record, and I'm going with New Millennium. So something about that I've always loved. I love the groove to it. I think it's it sets a good tone for a set. It's got some good jams to it. I've always really liked that song. Plus, you get the Chapman stick, so you get something really wonky right off the bat. And then after that song, stage goes black, and we're waiting for my second song. So take it away.
What is your second song, John?
Oh, we're going out of order now. Okay. So you said you're going to lead, so I'm waiting for you to lead, my friend.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, bang up job, Brian. Bang up job.
All right, I'll just tell you my second song since I'm going first. That's right. I'm going to copy one of yours. I'm going to go with it felt weird at first, but then it felt good. That's what you said. In the Presence of Enemies, Part 1.
Oh, very nice. Okay.
It just felt like it fit right there.
Okay.
It's still, second song is still almost kind of, people are probably still kind of coming back and getting ready for another 90 minutes, so it almost doesn't feel like it's obviously not the opener of the set, but yeah, it felt good at number 2 there. And, there's about 5 songs we gush over nonstop, and this is one of them. So,
yeah.
So I don't know what else to say about it. So
yeah, not really a surprise that we both have it on our list.
Yeah, I would be stunned if that one was not on both of our lists.
Yeah. So, all right. So for me, I open the second set with New Millennium, and then the stage goes black for a bit, kind of building anticipation. And then it kicks into something which I don't think that you would have ever thought I would have pulled a song off of this record. But my second song is The Looking Glass. So,
wow.
Yeah, as I literally went through the track listing. I literally went through the track listing of all the records, and I was like, you know what? That song is kind of cool. And I wanted to have some songs that people wouldn't really expect from me, or this late in their career, maybe from the band. And it turns out that a lot of my wonky choices ended up in the second set, like most of them. So I think my second set is pretty eclectic. But I kind of dig that because I know as a fan, like, most of the heavier, longer stuff I think was in the first set. So I know for me, like if I started getting more proggy stuff or interesting choices in the second set, it would really keep me engaged. So yeah, stage is black, wait for a second, and then bang into The Looking Glass. So that is my second song.
Number 3, I have Dream Theater doing a cover of Poison's Back to the Rocking Horse. Now, stay with me, if you will, on this. It's a choice between that or a cover of Trickster 1 in a Million. No,
that's fantastic.
It's funny because when some of these songs get mentioned earlier, I have to not say anything so I don't give anything away. I have At Wit's End.
Okay.
Number 3. I mean, I think I'm on record that is my favorite song on Distance Over Time.
Okay.
Yeah, especially I talked before about that ending solo and stuff, and
yep.
Yeah, that's a song I just love him, but everything about it. I mean, it's just a perfect melodic heavy, great ending to that one.
Yep. Our buddy Robert Reams, good to see you, man. He says he has a list of About to Crash, Losing Time, As I Am, Metropolis Part 1, Innocence Faded, Raise the Knife. Excellent deep cut there, man. These Walls, Dark Eternal Night, and Surrender to Reason. All right,
another
that's pretty damn good.
Surrender to Reason. You don't hear that talked about ever.
Very much so. Okay, so my third song. So we've done The Looking Glass, which fades out, and then it just kind of fades out. And my next song, my third song in the second set, actually fades in so they can kind of crossfade. I also have the majesty and beauty that is The Great Debate. I absolutely love this song. That was one that I was like, that's going in the set. There were a few of these, and I'm like, this has to go in the set. So, yeah, so I've got The Great Debate, and we talked about it earlier, and you hit it on the head. It's just, I've always loved this song. So, when we talked about 6 Degrees, I was gushing over it, and I'm glad you got into it because that song is one of the single most underappreciated Dream Theater songs there is. And so I had to put it in here. So my third song is The Great Debate, and then James will talk to the crowd after that. So,
yeah, I'm gonna have a little talking crowd thing here after we did At Wit's End, and James is gonna come out and say something along the lines of, "Yeah, we back in 1992 was it? We came out with this little album. Maybe people have never heard of it, called Images and Words, and they are gonna do a back-to-back. I'm gonna repeat you here. We're going to go Wait for Sleep into Learning to Live."
Oh, so you're giving 4 and 5. Okay.
Yeah, I'm giving 4 and 5 because you can't do Wait for Sleep and not do Learning to Live. That would be complete insanity.
Okay.
That just
I like it.
Happen. So yeah, and it originally was kind of going to end the set with that, but I'm like, you know what? Let's put it in here instead. You know what I mean? It's still a super high, high point of the set, and without totally, because we still got a ton of killer stuff we can end with, and I thought it would be fun to fit it right there.
Okay. Kale McLeish says, I'm kind of surprised that Jon didn't put Trial of Tears there after how great the crossfade is in the Breaking the Fourth Wall DVD. I didn't want to repeat that, Kale, actually. I did think about that, but I didn't want to repeat it. So I thought that would be kind of derivative. Adam Rishog says, The Great Debate is my second set opener. Top 5 Dream Theater song of all time. I agree with you on that wholeheartedly, man. It's definitely in my top 5 as well. Now, as for my 4th and 5th songs, so Great Debate ends and James is talking to the crowd and he says we're going to go way back in the time machine again, and Dream Theater is going to play Statusseeker. That is I love that song. I know it's like the last song they wrote for When Dream and Day Unite. It was meant to be like, hey, let's try and write a single. I don't care. Something about that song I have always absolutely loved, and I would love to see that song live. Honestly, right here, I almost put To Live Forever, but I thought Statusseeker would be much cooler, at least for me, and this is my ultimate set list, so I make the rules around here. So they play Statusseeker, the stage goes black, let the suspension build, and then you're going to love this one, Brian. All of you listening, watching, everybody in the chat are going to love this selection. Here it comes. Out of the black, you hear the piano. Doom, 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 doom. Space Dive Vest. You could call it a troll job if you want, me trolling everybody, but I actually do love that song, and I have seen it live, and I absolutely loved it live. So, yeah, Space Dive Vest. So I've got 4 and 5 are Statusseeker, Black Stage just to build the tension, and then Space Dive Vest. Adam Rishog. I thought you were going to say Repentance. That's my encore, a 30-minute extended jam version of Repentance.
I would love to know what the band would say to doing that 4 and 5 you just proposed there.
That could you imagine?
They'd probably throw you out of their dressing room or whatever.
Yeah. But you know what, though? For super hardcore fans, you'd be like, oh, my God, this is awesome. Like, when do you ever hear that stuff? Like,
actually, I think Statusseeker is a cool kind of a different song. I don't think there's anything Dream Theater about it, but
well, I like it. Robert Husted says, I knew Jon was going to pick Space Dive Vest. Unfortunately, Robert, I think everybody knew. I think that was an obvious one, you know.
Oh, it's Kale, track 4, Outcry. Now there we
go.
I was flip flopping on. That's an definitely an underappreciated, I think, song on an album that you can't stand.
I never said I can't stand dramatic turn of events. Damn you! I can't wait till we do that deep dive.
All right, so we are at number 6.
Number 6.
Number 6.
And how many songs do you have in your list? Because I have 11 in mine.
I think I only have 9, and then 1 for the encore.
Okay.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Yeah, we did say 20, so that would make sense.
Yeah. Yep.
Okay.
Okay. So I cannot believe you. Well, I guess I can believe you put this in there more than I did. But I've got a repeat here on you. I have Honor Thy Father.
What? No way.
Yeah, I started jamming some train of thought, trying to go, man, is there something because there's obvious opening song could put on there.
Yeah.
And I was like, I'm starting to dig this heavier part more and more and more and more. I'm really digging this heavy thing. So I'm like, when should I bust this out? And I'm like, yeah, let's put it right after Learning to Live. Why not? So yeah, that's what I've got. Honor Thy Father.
Wow. Okay. Nice. Well, me for number 6, Statusseeker, it's kind of a poppier tune for them. Space Dive Vest is weird, but it is a little slower. So after Space Dive Vest, James is talking, and then James tells us a little story about a beautiful little piano part that was written for the Falling Into Infinity record, and we get Anna Lee.
Nice.
That's another one of those songs I think is underrated. It's very different from anything that they have in their catalog. I've always really, really liked that song. I mean, go figure, it's on my favorite record. So I just think that would be a really cool a really cool song to have on there. So I don't know. I've always wanted to see that live, and I know it's on, the Once in a Lifetime DVD. When they're doing that, was it Rotterdam or something? I think when they're doing kind of the Unplugged show. But yeah, so my number 6 is Anna Lee.
Nice. I'm not shocked. That was one I probably would have been 50-50 that you were probably going to put in there from that album. I got to go with the standard here. We've just kind of had our heads bashed in by Honor Thy Father, so we need like just a classic big giant upbeat, Breaking All Illusions.
Nice. Okay. So you got Breaking All Illusions at number 7. Okay.
Yeah.
This is going to surprise you. I actually don't have that one on my list.
Well, you're not supposed to tell me that ahead of time, John.
Well, I mean, we're close to the end, so I'm letting you look.
I'm not. I guess I'm not totally surprised.
I was gonna say I let you look over the security barrier and kind of like peek at my set list. So, yeah, that's a phenomenal song. You can't go wrong with that. I mean, you and I have been on record how many episodes just extolling the virtues of that particular track. So, not a surprise there. I that's one I knew that you would have. For me, I'm keeping the mellow stuff going, and I put Along for the Ride here. So I have kind of 4, kind of mellower ones, but they're all, not that long. I mean, Space Divest is 7.5 minutes, but the others are 4, 5, and 4. So it provides a nice little breather and kind of gets you ready for the end of the show. So yeah, my number 7, I have Along for the Ride. And I got to tell you, I was absolutely shocked when I finished mine to find that I had 2 songs from the self-titled record on my list.
Yeah,
so,
that's for sure.
Yeah, I was like, wow, okay, I'm being very judicious with this. So
yeah, I would have pegged you for Along for the Ride, but Looking Glass, that threw me.
Yeah. So Kale says he put 2 in from the Astonishing. Raven's Kill is his number 6, and his number 7 is Moment of Betrayal.
Yeah, I tried with that to do anything other than the obvious New World or whatever. Yeah. And I don't know. I even actually kind of listened to Raven's Kill a little bit. I thought Moment of Betrayal would be a little weird, but Raven's Kill I was kind of close, but I'm like, it just didn't seem to work.
Yeah.
I don't know what your thoughts are when trying to do something like that.
I still don't know the names of the songs.
Yeah,
on that record.
It's hard to keep track of them.
Yeah, well, I mean, because whenever I listen to it, I only put it in if I can listen to the whole damn thing. Yeah. So I'm basically getting a 2+ hour chunk of music. So I don't remember the song titles because I'm not looking at it. I'm just getting into the story and the feel of the thing. So, yeah. So I had a hard time with that one. That was kind of a battle for me. So,
all right. So what are we on now? 8.
Song 8, yes, and I have 11 in mind. So
okay, song 8 for me. We have the first and only solo of the night, Mr. Jordan Rudess.
Of course.
And he doesn't usually solo much by himself. Usually John is up there kind of riffing along with him. At least he joins in at some point. So he's going to do all that. They don't usually go insanely long, maybe 3-4 minutes tops. And then everything's going to kind of mellow down, and we're going to hear the piano intro for Through Her Eyes.
Ah, that's awesome. Nice.
So
you get the Jordan Rudess solo breaking down into Through Her Eyes. Nice.
Yeah, I was trying to. I had something else originally to go after that, and it wasn't making sense. So I'm like, you know what? And I've just always loved that song and that melody. It's just timeless to me. So I got to get that song in there because that's one of those. Other than seeing when they did the full album, the odds you get that song are probably pretty damn slim.
Sure.
So yeah, I mean, I thought that was a perfect spot to put it there, and that's what we got.
Awesome. Well, for my 8th song, and my 6, 7, and 8 are all together. We've done Anna Lee and Along for the Ride, so we're on kind of a mellow trip. I decided to bring it back to the heavy stuff with one of the most obnoxiously heavy riffs they've done, and it's a song I don't think anyone would guess that I put in here. I am having the band dip their toes into the Distance Over Time waters, and I actually have Room 137. I figure you go from something two mellow, nice songs into something just obnoxious and weird and be like, kind of like, it's like a slap upside the head back into Dream Theater world. So I have Room 137, and then I have James talking to the crowd for the final time of the evening. So
I had you pegged for Out of Reach, and then I knew you would pick something, a little bit deeper on this. So
okay,
I'm not shocked on this one.
Nice. All right, so you're closing your set.
Closing my set. I tried to not put the song in there. I was lucky enough to we just got to see it, and I was like, maybe I'm burned out on it, and I was trying to talk myself. I'm like, I can't talk myself out of Count of Tuscany. I just can't do it.
I was wondering.
I don't know. I mean, there's just no way. If I'm going and I get to make the set list, this is going to be in there. And rather than have it be the encore, I thought I would end the second set with it.
Awesome. Okay. So
which
Kale says
which is great, but it deprives me of two other songs at least.
Sure. No, it's okay. See, now I have to do my 9, 10, and 11, so I have to end my show here. Well, Kale says his number 8 is Enigma Machine with the extended drum solo in the middle. Such a great show moment, and this late in the set, it's well deserved. I completely agree with that. And his number 9 is a break for Jordan Rudess, John Mayung, and Mike Mangini with a real close and intimate version of Take Away My Pain. I love it. In parentheses, this used to be Beneath the Surface, but nah, Take Away My Pain just for John. I appreciate that, man. Thank you. I absolutely love that song. That's definitely one of my top favorites of their catalog. All right, so I've got my final 3 songs. James is, hey guys, thanks for coming out. We got a few left, blah, 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 doing his thing. And might be cliche here, but I have them going into Our New World. It's one of my favorite riffs they've ever done. So got to hear that. It's just absolutely phenomenal. I love the way that it fades out. And the fade out is a perfect time to fade into another song. And that song, Adam Rishog, here you go, Trial of Tears. So I thought that would make a really cool crossfade there. And, Trial of Tears, what can I say? Everyone knows it's my favorite Dream Theater song off my favorite Dream Theater record. So, of course, the very first song I chose to be in my list was Trial of Tears. And Trial of Tears also fades out, which lends itself to an awesome fade in of my show closer. And Brian, I stole this from you, and I'm absolutely shocked you didn't do this. My show closer, and this is why I didn't choose Learning to Live to close the show. My closer is In the Presence of Enemies Part 2, so that the whole show starts with In the Presence of Enemies and bookends with In the Presence of Enemies. I don't remember what episode you posited that, but I thought that was one of the most badass show ideas I have ever heard. And I'm really surprised that you forgot about that and didn't do it, because that's another thing I knew. I was like, I'm doing that. I'm taking Hendrickson's idea. Rip him off. So, so my final 3, Our New World, fading out with the fade in of Trial of Tears, which then fades out and fades into In the Presence of Enemies Part 2. And that is the end of my second set, which leaves us with our encores. So what is your encore?
Well, it would seem like it's obvious, but Mike Mangini at one point was in a little band called Annihilator. So we're going to go into listen, hell. We're going to just play like the first verse of that.
Oh my God.
No, we're not going to do that. You know what? I was told there would be, yeah, dude. I mean, you got those keyboards coming in, and it's Metropolis, and that Hendrickson cannot leave a Dream Theater show unless he's heard Metropolis, even more so than any other song. I just think it's always should just be the last song.
Okay.
Almost for me. It's so hard to. It can't go in the first set. It's got to be in the second set. It's got to be towards the end. And let's just come back out and bang out like probably one of the greatest melodic progressive rock songs like ever put pen to paper, if they used to do it that way. You know what I mean?
Sure.
I mean, literally, it's just that epic of a song.
Yeah, that one's very hard to argue with, man. That is definitely an awesome encore. Rex Jaycox is checking in. First timer, good to see you, man. He says, hey there, guys. Thanks for checking out the show, man. Hope you're having a good time. My Encore is actually one that you've already used, and Adam Rishog is going to be in all of his glory as, the band comes back out on the stage, but only Jordan Rudess under one spotlight. He starts playing around with the continuum, and we get Octavarium as the encore. I always picture that song at Radio City Music Hall, and it was just so powerful. So I think to come out with that, and like you said, you got having an epic in there, you got to have one of the epics, and that's the one I thought would be really cool, especially for me at the end of my second set, which was a little more eclectic. I've used that word before, but it's really kind of what it is. So, and I think Octavarium has a lot of weirdness to it. So I thought that would be a perfect choice to close my show. So there you go. That is our ultimate set lists. What challenges did you have in putting this together? Because I wrote mine and I looked at it. I was like, all right, cool. I'm done. Printed it, ready to go. I must have got 40 text messages. Oh, man, now I got this. Now I'm thinking about this. I just rewrote my whole first set. Oh, man, this. You were having a hell of a time with it. So
I was, man. It was a lot of I don't know if you call it recency bias, but I mean, they do have this killer new album out. And
Yep.
We've said before how distance over time is whenever we finally do get around to doing our album rank episode, it's going to be up there pretty damn high.
Okay.
So I leaned on that. Yeah, it was. So the one idea I did have, I don't know if I should give this away or not.
Well, we're done with our show, so
yeah,
our set lists.
I really wanted to get Pale Blue Dot in there. I love that song.
I had the same idea. I was looking for a spot for that one too.
So I was going to put it towards the end of set one, and what I wanted to do was, since it hasn't been that long since Neil Peart from Rush passed away, we'll be on 2 years now, I think. I would have loved to have started with the ding, 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 ding. I don't know if you're not that familiar with Rush, but the song Countdown, which is about the original space shuttle. Just a great song. There's all these cool sound bites going on behind it, and killer keyboards and killer drum parts. I would love for them to play that and show images of Neil and stuff, and then kind of fade that out, and then you get the beginning of Pale Blue Dot come in, because they're both got the space theme to them. I thought that would have just been killer, because anytime Dream Theater plays a Rush song, it's gonna be amazing anyway.
Yeah.
But I don't know. That was my one idea for that song, but I couldn't figure out where to exactly put it in there, and I was like, I left it out. So.
Yeah, I was looking for that one too. Breaking All Illusions was one that I was trying to think of a place to put. Oddly enough, I was like, can I put something this weird in? I know you're going to hate this, but Light Fuse and Get Away, I thought would be a really cool selection.
How do I mute you? There's no way in a million years they would play that. I'm just telling you now.
No way. My God, that's hilarious. Well, dude, I thought, like I say, I wanted to do stuff that you don't see it coming. So
yeah.
I tried to write mine again with the idea of how it would flow in an actual set, but also stuff where the hardcore fans would be like, holy crap, no way. I just thought that was something really cool to do. And so I was thinking about that one. There was At Wit's End was one that I was struggling with. Burning My Soul was one that I really wanted to get in. But I would have actually put Hell's Kitchen in the middle of it it was originally written.
Say, how did you not put Hell's Kitchen in there?
Yeah.
You beat me to it. I am stunned you did not have that song in there.
Well, I was looking for an instrumental break, and I was like, you know what? It would be cool. Erotomania is just one you don't hear enough anymore. And so I thought that would be really cool to pull that one out and then do a double shot of Awake right there. So, but yeah, like I say, it was kind of funny because I only had to cut out a handful of songs. And for example, I cut out Overture 1928. I was going to put that at the beginning of the show, but I was like, oh man, I was trying to figure out a way to work it in with In the Presence of Enemies, but I'm like, the whole thing has to start with In the Presence of Enemies. That's the crux of my show. Book ending with part 1 and part 2 of In the Presence of Enemies. So I couldn't do that. And then it just didn't really feel like it fit somewhere else to me.
You know what's kind of weird that you just mentioned that the first album that was the toughest of trying to figure out if you wanted to do anything different was Astonishing. Scenes from a Memory was, I mean, obviously you can do Spirit Carries On, but like I was trying to do Deja Vu and I'm like Strange Deja Vu and I'm like, I don't think I can just do this on its own. It's a little, it didn't make sense. You know, I had it in there like, oh, I want to put this right in after this. And then I'm like, no, you know, and then I had the first, what's the first one before Fatal Tragedy or whatever? Is that what it's called? The first incarnation of the riff from Through Her Eyes. It's only the 1.5-minute song.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
And I had that,
I'm
but then
to
go into, I think it's Fatal Tragedy. Sorry if I'm getting the songs wrong here. But I'm like, well, this feels a little weird because at the end he's like doing the talking thing again with the shrink or whatever.
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, this like I had that in there for a while, and I'm like, this is weird, man. So I was like, unless you were just gonna flat out kind of go a Spirit Carries On, or what I did, which is like, all right, let's sort of cheat and do a keyboard solo and then go into Through Her Eyes. I had a tough time with that album.
Yeah, I did too. A lot of my choices came down to obvious stuff that I like and then weird choices to kind of make it kind of a funky set list. Like, because I like those moments where you go, oh, what the hell? Like, you know, when we saw him in, you know, Greenville, Pennsylvania on the Images tour, and the first set they busted out To Live Forever. I was like, holy crap. Like, I love stuff like that. So I wanted to have those moments in my set. And, you know, unfortunately, you know, like you said, I think you think the band would kill me if I suggested them going back to back with Statusseeker and Space Time Fest. But, I just thought it'd be cool, you know, and I mean, it probably wouldn't be very popular, you know, as a pair of selections, but I just think if you get those sorts of things live, that, you know, the shock factor kind of outweighs how much you like the song in certain instances like that, because you could say, holy crap, I got to see that song live. So
the only thing you kind of surprised me on was I would have thought you would have had your order a little different. I thought you would have ended with Octavarium and then the Trail of Tears for the encore. That's what threw me off a little bit.
I as much as I love Trail of Tears, I think if they come out with that as an encore, it doesn't feel like an encore to me. And also, in looking at what songs I had left, again, you know, the fade outs cross really well.
Yeah.
So, I mean, Trail of Tears fades in and out, so it's a perfect sandwich song, you know, between, you know, the first song that has a fade out and the third song that has a fade in. So I just thought that it, like, fit perfectly doing it that way. So.
Did you try at all to do what they did on the tour we saw where they did the two 6 Degrees songs back to back? Did you try to finagle something like that without putting the whole thing in there? Or did you consider the whole thing, or? I mean, you've already seen it, so it's probably like
yeah. For a minute I did, but then I was like, you know, taking up like 45 minutes of the show, that's literally like 1/4 of the show. And I'm like, man, I got so many other things that I would like to see. And, you know, I like when there's more songs. You know, I mean, this last tour was cool. You know, the song selection was great, but having only, you know, 10 songs was kind of like, you know, I mean, they're super long and everything, but you kind of like wish that there was more. So I kind of wanted to have a number of selections in there. And honestly, the weirdest thing for me was when I whittled it down, I really thought I was going to have to cut a whole bunch out due to time, and I came in 15 minutes under. I was like, what the hell? So that was kind of weird for me. So I really didn't think that...
exactly 2 minutes over on set 132. Set 2, now this includes the encore. So the encore is technically, I'm at 141.
Okay.
So basically 13 minutes over. So we're almost exact, right?
Right. Look at Kale. He says, did you try to put 6 Degrees in there and then realize that you needed to have Ministry of Lost Souls, so you ended up with Just About to Crash? Kale taking shots.
No, I agree on your thing about the last tour. You know, like I was trying to sort of like, okay, I don't want too many of, you know, almost like you're saying, you use the word eclectic, which is sort of like, you know, that's also applies more to the weird songs you kind of picked on, weird in quotation marks.
Yeah.
But also, like, I don't want it to be, okay, here's 7 heavy songs in a row, here's 4 epics in a row, here's 9 mellow ones. I was trying to like sort of pace it, like, okay, we've bashed ourselves over the head. This is real dark and heavy. Now let's have something lighthearted, like Transcending Time or whatever. And I was just trying to like just sort of pace it like that, almost kind of like you did, almost like 2 and 3 song segments, and here's what we're trying to portray here, and here's the energy we think we can get back and give, and like you said, you've had a lot of experience, putting that kind of stuff together, and like, hey man, Sweet Home Alabama, that's got to go in the second set. You can't come right out of the gate with that. Same with Born Tubby Wild, that's got to be later.
Oh my God. Oh, playing pop covers just sucks. So, man, this was a blast. This was really fun to put together. I think a lot of our viewers had some great ideas in here. So, Chris Moran, Kale, Adam, Robert Reams, you guys, man, great suggestions in here. So that was a lot of fun. Man, and as I said earlier, Brian, we still got a lot of cool stuff in the pipeline coming up. So, one thing that I can confirm, I don't know when we're going to be doing this episode, but I have been keeping in touch with Rich Wilson after our interview with him, and he wanted to come back on the show, and he wants to do our deep dive of Octavarium. So whenever we get to Octavarium, that's going to be a 3-man deep dive with Dream Theater biographer Rich Wilson. So that one's going to be cool. I have an email out to, I guess I can say it. It's not confirmed yet, but he said he's definitely wanting to come on, so we're just trying to get things scheduled correctly. Peter Wildoer, drummer from Darkane. You may remember him as one of basically the finalists for Mike Portnoy's spot back in 2010. So he's going to come on and talk about, in depth about the audition and all behind the scenes of what actually went on when the band was looking for a replacement for Mike Portnoy. We are going to do a deep dive of Rush's Moving Pictures, and this is kind of a cool crossover episode for me, Brian. We're doing that with a guy whose name is Dan Madsen, and he's actually from the world of Star Wars and Star Trek. He originated Star Wars Celebration, which is like my favorite thing to do on this earth. So he originated that convention. He also started the very first Star Trek fan club and Star Wars fan club, but he is actually an enormous Rush fan. Like, he cannot get enough Rush, and his favorite record is Moving Pictures. So I said, hey, I interviewed him on my nerd podcast, the Nerf Herder Council, and I said, hey, would you want to come on my music show and talk some Rush? He's like, hell yeah. So we're going to be doing that. And then we got a couple other irons in the fire in terms of interviews, and you've come up with some really cool ideas. So yeah, we got a lot of cool stuff coming up, man. It's very exciting. The future's so bright we have to wear shades, as it were.
It is.
Adam Rishog says that he wants to be a part of the Scenes from a Memory deep dive.
No. Okay, yes.
There you go, Adam. There you go. So we could definitely accommodate you there. Yeah, and guys, don't forget, if you would like to get one of those Astonishing Tour mini programs, our good buddy Sean Faust actually gifted those to us specifically for giveaways. So thank you very much to Sean for sending those over to us all the way from New Jersey. So if you would like an Astonishing Tour mini program, just shoot us an email at talkingintoinfinity@gmail.com, and I'd be more than happy to get one out to you. Again, please, got to be U.S. only, because the shipping cost to go overseas is quite a bitch. So, so found that one out the hard way, Brian. So, yeah, again, this was awesome, man. So we're going to be back at this again in 2 weeks on Thursday, July 14th at 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Do you have any idea of what you want to talk about on that one?
Well, if all goes well, I may have just been to the Jordan Rudess show, so I'm not totally sure.
Oh, that's right.
He's here Saturday,
July 9th.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm not 100% sure I can go to that, but if I am, we will talk a lot about that. And,
beautiful.
We'll come up with something. Even if I wasn't there, I'll just pretend that I was. And
just say you were.
Hey, he was really good. He played a lot of songs.
Right.
So yeah, I'm hoping to go to that show. So I know you can't. You got a gig, right?
Yeah. While you're looking at someone playing extremely technical music with class and grace, I'll be on stage in Cridersville, Ohio, shotgunning a beer out of a prosthetic leg.
Nice.
So yeah, two different worlds there for sure. But yeah, guys, and one last thing. If you have not caught our interviews with Jordan Rudis and Rich Wilson and Paul Logue, Chance Labrie, and James Labrie, go check those out. Again, you can find them on our YouTube channel, or you can find them on Heavy Metal Television. You could download the audio versions and listen to them however you listen to your audio podcasts. We had an absolute blast doing those shows. There's some really, really, really cool information in those. And Brian and I are just really proud of those and think you guys are really going to dig it. So please go check those out. And again, to everybody in the chat, Kale and Adam, JG3, good to see you, man. Rex J. Cox, Chris Moran, all you guys, Robert Reams, Robert Husted, it's great to see all of you. We will be back here on Thursday, July 14th at 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And until then, guys, Carpe Diem.